Hello, everybody.
Hello, cats and kittens.
All you cool cats and kittens. We are back.
We are back.
Another quarantine episode.
Yep, and we're alive and well, and I hope everyone listening is not dead. And I hope the drummer next door is proud of himself.
Hope you feel good about that. Feel good about that?
So yeah, we are in a studio with a drummer in the background, so apologies if you hear some nonsense.
And I'm in my bedroom with my bed in the background, so
they can hear me.
Well, they deserve it.
Also, we are on a Zoom call, and we have every intention of putting this on YouTube. So check us out on YouTube. I don't know a quick way to plug that other than just searching SOS with Molly and Alissa. So
yeah,
do that.
And obviously, once this shit is over, we're gonna have like high quality video that's up there that we're filming that isn't just a Zoom call videoed. But in the meantime, you will be able to see our facial expressions and our ridiculousness while you're sitting at home not doing anything.
Yeah, you can see me awkwardly dance to our intro, and that's it.
Here we are.
So never mind. Don't look at us at all. There's nothing. Nothing.
So
worth seeing.
how have you been, Alissa?
I've been good. I've kind of just been playing lots of Call of Duty. I don't know. I don't judge myself. I'm a human being that is losing herself slowly every day to video games. And I booked that commercial that in the last episode that I was like waiting on my agent. My agent didn't even fucking tell me that I booked it. I just got a call from production.
Weird.
So stupid. But I booked it, and it was a wild experience shooting a commercial in my home with my, I was on a Zoom call. I had to record it via QuickTime and over Zoom, acting live with my other actors, with directors and producers on the Zoom call. It was
so
weird.
Interesting to me that so many pieces need to fall into place to do that. Like even in the audition process, like you said, they need to ask you what sound equipment you have. What does your apartment look like? What's the light like? Go get up early, you said, and they go through your closet with you. It's bizarre that people would even take. I mean, it's cool. People are willing to put that much work into shooting a commercial from home, but it's it's kind of an insane thought. Like the first person who said well, let's still hold auditions and we'll go through their apartments. And someone was probably like, okay, yeah, right. That takes way too much work, but shit worked and you got paid.
Yeah,
so,
I got paid. Thank you.
Yes.
It was a weird experience. It was all day long. Poor Ryan, because a part of the commercial had to be they sent me a bunch of cakes and I had to just, this is the annoying thing, Molly. I didn't tell you about this. On my end, my character had to destroy cakes.
What?
And had to make it splatter
all over your apartment,
all over the kitchen.
Oh God!
Yeah, I had to destroy a cake with what did I end up using? A broom. I had to just whack a cake over and over and over again, and it was a nightmare.
How many cakes did they send you?
They sent me 3 cakes from Milk Bar, which is amazing. But they even had me cut them in half so we can use more takes, and we would just bake it so it was a full cake. And Ryan would have to come and be the set dresser. That's what he does for a living anyway, and clean up between takes. And it took forever.
Wow.
And there was cake all over my kitchen, Molly. It was.
Oh, that's really annoying.
It was really. I'm like.
Well, thank God you booked it and it wasn't.
To do that. I'm like, I got the fucking shit end of the stick.
Well, at least, yeah. At least that wasn't an audition where you do all that for nothing.
I know. I guess,
was it
whatever.
good cake?
I got paid. I didn't have to use my shitty unemployment, but whatever.
Was it good cake? That's the important question.
It was delicious. It's Milk Bar. Have you ever had the Milk Bar birthday cakes?
No, but I've seen pictures of that one. Oh, is the birthday cake one?
It was amazing. I had 4 vanilla ones. And
my God,
and
that's
then
my favorite.
They sent me extra goodies too, just for myself, little chocolate, a piece of the chocolate cake, truffle.
Dude,
it was amazing. Anyway, but
that's
that
my
was,
dream.
Yeah, it was my.
What'd you say?
I've never
considered going into acting until just now.
You can. It's so stupid easy right now. Like all my auditions are just like, I'm in the apartment and here's
It's
me.
so funny.
It's so bizarre what actors are doing right now. And shout us out on social media if you're having really wild experiences as an artist adjusting.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
the
I mean, there's like
quarantine.
virtual musicians doing virtual concerts. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to adapt. And yeah.
How do you
It was
feel
just
about the singers that are doing like the John Lennon? Have you heard of that?
What?
Oh,
John Lennon?
The gal could. So all these celebrities did. You know the We Are the World.
Yeah.
So they did a version of that. What was the song? We Imagine. They did Imagine. Did you hear about that? I have to send it to you.
No.
It's so
but I know
cringy. 'Cause
people listening can't see my face right now, but it was a heavy eye roll.
So it's all these celebrities in their mansions in their background, in their marble bathrooms, singing different lines, and like they cut it up so it's like the full song, you know? And they're all
Yeah.
singing Imagine. And it's like,
That's-
you know, an updated We Are the World. And it's just so tone deaf and awkward. Like they have like Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell's in it.
Oh, they're not singers. They're just comedians?
Oh, no. It's not supposed to be like we're singers and we're doing a good job. It's just like
Oh, it's a joke?
celebrities reaching out and trying to be like, we're
come
with
on.
you guys. And I'm just like, you can't be with us when we have a 600 square foot apartment
No.
in like a non-gentrified
insane.
part of the city
have-
because this is real life.
Right. And no access to outdoors because even the common area, even the courtyard in my apartment and the gym are all closed.
Oh, God.
And meanwhile, these people are like, saying, I understand. I understand. Like, if I had reached that level in my career, I'd have a fucking dope house too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're posting things of like getting my workout in and you're in a fully equipped gym and it's in your house, whatever, but just understand how unrelatable you are. And you can post wherever you want. And I'm not even offended by it. I'm just like, do you know how unrelatable you are? If you do, cool. If you don't, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's so cringy. I have to send it to you. And I also have to send it to you. And if listeners at home haven't seen this other version with John Mayer, where he... John Mayer's not in the original video. He does a parody of it where he adds himself. He's like, oh, yeah, they asked me to do it, but I thought we were singing Imagine from Ariana Grande's latest album. So it's amazing. So it just cuts into him singing a completely different song. It's really good. It's lightness that we need.
Yeah,
But,
for real.
Yeah, how are you?
Speaking of-
How's your quarantine?
I'm good. I'm just like in an infinite battle with unemployment and
Yeah.
you know, you just can't get through on the phone. You can't get through online.
Did you get your
I have
extra
filed,
600
but
yet?
it's just this whole, what?
Did you get your extra 600?
No, I haven't gotten anything yet.
Oh, shit.
I know that they have my claim, which is comforting because for a while, for like a month, I was like, did they even receive it?
Yeah.
What the hell? Now I know that they have it, but yeah, zero. I've had zero money come in for the last 5 weeks.
I just got
from anything.
I got unemployment last week, and then I just got my second round of unemployment, and then my first round of the extra $600.
Oh,
At midnight.
damn,
Me
yeah.
and Ryan both got it. It's
that'd be
fucking
great.
crazy. And my friends
Yeah.
in New York are getting the $1,200 check already, and we're today
my
is
friends
April
too.
16th. Just so you know, when we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you know, but this is a time where, like, of course, it's forcing people to be. For the first week, it was mostly like disbelief and Instagram jokes and Instagram challenges and whatever. Second week, I feel like was very much like shit, unemployment, finances, losing jobs, being fired, all that. Third and fourth week, now we're in the fifth week. I feel like now people are really, if you have, you know, it's a traumatic time, but obviously we're all trying to find some type of light. And we're realizing the importance of staying healthy and being self-sustainable, whether that's like, you know, we know all your sustainable living and the products you use, but also being able to stay healthy on your own without being dependent on the system.
yeah,
And there's a lot of good and important things that come from like Western medicine, for example, but there's a lot that nature has to offer that ancient civilizations have known because they're ancient.
yeah.
Have like humanity just kind of forgot. But now is a time where I see online too, a lot of people making at-home remedies. And yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there. Like you can't, this isn't going to work or that's some shit. But there is a lot of truth to natural remedies. And that's kind of where we landed on this episode because it's relevant. It gives people more of a sense of control because this is a time where we all feel so out of control.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to, health.
Yeah.
And so, this topic is natural remedies and ancient healing techniques. And
we just feel like we wanted to touch on something because we know it's really hard to know what to do. Let's say you feel sick right now and it's really hard for you to understand how to heal yourself in a way that doesn't involve going out to your doctor. Because I know when I was sick, my doctor was like, do not come in. Good luck, here's some antibiotics. And I don't even know what the antibiotics did for me. But I know I've been taking these amazing supplements, and we'll go into that later. And I have friends that have been taking amazing supplements that is good for immune protection, boosting, it boosts your immune system. And we wanted to talk about that so we can provide some healing and some information that you might not have known about before.
Yeah. And obviously we're not experts in this field, but we both have an interest in it, have dabbled in it, have done our own research in it. In the future, we hope to have experts in the field come on as guests. And so, but from what we do know and what we have figured out, we do want to share because it gives some sense of empowerment, hopefully, to you when you realize, like, okay, you don't just have to wait for, depending on what you have, of course, but like you don't always have to wait in line for this or that might not even help you when, so
you have the ingredients at home, and I have a little something prepared because I did a little activity at home with ingredients you have in your kitchen for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
For sure, maybe.
But okay, so today, do you ever notice how a health wellness trend will suddenly pop up and everyone will rush to get their hands on some new $50 superfood powder that will heal your insides and make your skin glow? Turns out it's just repackaging the wisdom of ancient civilizations and presenting as new something that's humanity discovered eons ago. What's more empowering than being in tune with and being able to heal and nourish your own body? So tune in.
Yeah.
Today,
we're right now.
Into exploring herbalism, ancient medicines, and healing modalities.
Yeah. So one of the things, herbalism is one of the main topics. But what is herbalism? I'm going to dedicate this episode to my dad because he's a botanist. So here we are.
Ooh.
This is for you, Dad. The study of botany and the use of medicinal plants. So plants have been the basis for medical treatments through much of human history, obviously. Archaeological evidence indicates that the use of medicinal plants dates back to the Paleolithic age, so about 60,000 years ago. And there's written evidence of herbal remedies that date back to over 5,000 years to the Sumerians, who compiled a list of plants. So that's why it's laughable to me when something comes out. Oh, have you heard of ashwagandha? It's the new thing. And you can buy a $50 jar of powdered ashwagandha on Goop. And it's like, cool. But yeah, this is literally thousands of years of knowledge that we have separated ourselves from and then reintroduce to ourselves and try to monetize it. Anyway, so in, let's see. Some ancient cultures wrote about plants and their medical uses in books, called herbals. So in ancient Egypt, I think I mentioned it before. My parents lived in Egypt for a couple of years, and I developed this obsession with ancient Egyptian culture. Visited them there. In ancient Egypt, herbs are mentioned in Egyptian medical. They used papyrus as their paper, obviously, like scrolls of papyrus. So they had scrolls that mentioned the herbs
and papyrus
it depicted.
Font, obviously.
What's that?
And the papyrus font they used.
Yeah, yes, in the papyrus font. And it was depicted in tomb illustrations, and on rare occasions it was found, they found medical jars that contained trace elements of herbs. Among the oldest and lengthiest and most important papyrus scroll of ancient Egypt, they named it the Ebers Papyrus. It dates back from about 1550 BC. And it covers more than 700 compounds, mainly of plant origin.
That's crazy.
That they documented. Isn't that insane?
Well, it's insane, too, because these indigenous healers, they also put down in here how they kind of studied wild animals and what they would do to basically heal themselves naturally. And I mean, anybody who's a dog owner knows when their dog is having like indigestion or anything wrong with their stomach, if they're not eating, they go right to eat grass. And that's exactly what these animals were doing, like sheep, chimpanzees, chickens. They were studying butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would like, if they were sick, they would tend to forage plants rich in secondary metabolites, it's called, such as tannins and alkaloids. So that would be like found in grass. And because of these phytochemicals, they have antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal properties. So that's exactly what animals would do to self-medicate, and it's
And it makes sense that human cultures and societies would observe that and learn to self-medicate, because we're not separate from the animal kingdom. We're part of it. So it's not, I know there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of it is founded, but we'll go into that later.
Yeah.
However, it's the most logical thing in the world to study other animals when they are hurt, sick, healing from something. What do they do? Try it out for ourselves, because we are also animals who eat plants. Like, that is illogical. And so, a plausible case can be made for self-medication by animals in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how is it related to and integrated with modern medicine? Because I believe in ultimately balance is everything. And when it comes to, we talk about the masculine and the feminine, neither one should dominate. It should be a balance of the two. Mm-hmm. And I believe, my belief system personally with Eastern and Western medicine, if you want to put it that way, is the balance of the two is great, because I don't knock Western medicine at all. It obviously has saved many lives. Like I've mentioned, one of my best friends is a nurse. Like that, it's very real. And but a lot of the medicines that have been developed in Western medicine are based on plants. You know, there's a lot of it is a lot of painkillers. So much of it started there.
Yeah, I actually 11% of the 252 drugs considered basic and essential by the World Health Organization are exclusively of flowering plant origin. So,
yes. So, modern medicine makes use of many plant-derived compounds as the basis for evidence-based pharmaceutical drugs. Like Alissa just said, that's where they stem from. Yeah. All science stems from nature, of course. So based on the World Health Assembly resolution on traditional medicine, they established a traditional medicine strategy, which involves, among other complementary health systems, Ayurveda. So if you guys have heard of that, it's like an Indian technique, but it's wellness, but it also involves herbalism. It involves healing. And it's called Ayurveda, Ayurveda. The first previous global strategy was published in 2002, and it dealt especially with herbal medicines. So the current version is beginning to consider aspects of traditional and complementary medicine practices and practitioners, and whether and how they should be integrated into overall health service delivery. So they're also talking about when, and in what ways they should be incorporated into, for example, being covered by health insurance, because they're being taken more seriously as they are studied more. That's the thing, is a lot of people have skepticism about it, which is fair, because there haven't been a lot of studies done. It's not that there have been all these studies done and it's been proven wrong. It's that it has not been seriously studied. Yeah. And so the World Trade Organization mentions Ayurveda in its intellectual property strategy. Traditional medicine, including Ayurveda, contributes significantly to the health status of many communities and is increasingly used within communities in developed countries. Traditional medicine has a long history of use in health maintenance and in disease prevention and treatment within ancient cultures.
So basically, if we didn't prioritize the pharmaceutical companies, like, we could have so many more possibilities with this new treatment that involves more natural remedies.
Yeah. In conjunction with, if it wasn't all about money, if it wasn't all about big pharma and money, you combine the new knowledge that humanity has gained that we didn't have then with the true valid knowledge that we had then that got buried. You have to use the two. And So yeah, and it's used all over the world. Ayurveda is specific to India, started there, but there's ancient Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alyssa,
Yeah.
you had a couple.
Yeah, we wanted to see what in different countries, like we were saying, what different things they do. And in Africa, and this is interesting to me, up to 80% of the population there uses traditional medicine as primary health care. So traditional medicine, so that means they use pharmaceuticals, primarily 80% of the population.
No, they say traditional medicine being like natural
remedies.
Traditional, natural. Because, obviously Africa, that's a whole bunch of countries. It's not just one country, but it's like most of Africa doesn't have access to modern medicine. So 80% of the population uses traditional medicine as their primary health care because that is their only option. But because of that, they have evidence that it's actually, in certain situations with certain ailments, it is actually working. And they have the proof that we don't have here because we go straight to pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So in America, Native Americans medicinally used about 2,500 of the approximately 20,000 plant species that are native to North America.
That's crazy. 2,500 plant species they found a use for in health and healing.
That's crazy.
Wow. In China, so in Chinese herbology, there are 50 what they call fundamental herbs, which is interesting. So some researchers have been trained in both Western and traditional Chinese medicine have attempted to deconstruct ancient medical texts in the light of modern science. And one idea is that the yin-yang balance, at least with regards to herbs, corresponds to the pro-oxidant and antioxidant balance in Western medicine. So what we think is separate, that's just whether you want to call it woo-woo or bullshit, whatever you want to call it, the yin-yang, that is a balance of cool and warm energy. And there are warming herbs, cinnamon, turmeric, nutmeg, there's such a thing. And they're realizing, the scientists who have been trained in Eastern and Western are realizing that it's different terminology that are actually saying the same things in a lot of areas. So this interpretation is supported by several investigations of ORAC, which is ORAC, oxygen radical absorbance capacity. So it's getting scientific, but basically that interpretation of the yin-yang and pro-oxidant, antioxidant is supported in investigations that rate various yin and yang herbs. So it's a method of measuring antioxidant capacities in biological samples. Mm-hmm. So they have somewhat, for the skeptics out there, and it's interesting because my dad's a botanist, but he's therefore a scientist. He's a biologist. Yeah. And so he has the skepticism side as well as the understanding of the true power of these plants. And so I like when scientists make the effort to cross over and not with the goal to disprove this or that, but just to learn and see and then find connections because they're not separate.
Did you ask him about
India,
this episode that we
what's that?
Did you ask him about did you tell him about this episode that we were doing?
No, I haven't talked to him about it yet. I will though, because I'll follow up with that because I would be interested to hear what he has to say. Yeah. I know he doesn't have like a supplement regimen, or he doesn't go way into that, but I think he'd have a lot of interesting insight. And when I was 17, we lived in China for 6 months or so, and it's interesting. I didn't have this knowledge and interest in this topic then, but just to see, like, even in their homes, in the people's kitchens there, it's almost like an apothecary. Of course, the food they're eating, but also ground up powders, and they have these, this works for this and this works for this. And you can come in and be like, they're all superstitious, or really look at it and be like, but there's something to some of it for sure. Yeah. In India, of course, we mentioned Ayurvedic medicine. So it has quite complex formulas with 30 or more ingredients, including a sizable number of ingredients that have undergone what they call alchemical processing. So it's, and the goal in Ayurveda is to balance the dosha. And dosha is what they call it. So they say there's fundamental bodily bioelements, and those are what they call doshas. So the goal is to have them all in balance. The central concept of it is the theory that health exists when there is a balance between these three fundamental bodily bioelements. I would love to have a professional come on to do a whole episode on Ayurveda, because obviously we're not an expert. I'm reading this research that I did, but
I love this.
I have a lot of interest in it.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of studies that actually validate a lot of what it does.
Yeah, I would be super interested in diving more into this, but it's like, this
actually,
is like kind of the first time I've ever heard of it, and that's sad.
Yeah, it's strange because it's so powerful. And if any of our listeners know somebody who is really either professional or just lifestyle wise, it's like an herbalist or specialist in Ayurveda, ancient Chinese medicine, like, please let us know.
Yeah.
It'd be a great guest episode. Yeah. And, when it comes to stigmas against and skepticism of natural remedies, that's because, and it's valid, few high quality clinical trials and standards there are few high quality clinical trials, and therefore there's very few to no standards for purity or dosage.
Right.
So there's a recipe for disaster. So you don't even.
Yeah. How are you ever going to learn anything if you're not going to put the money or the time into it?
Yeah. And the lack of clinical trials, it leads to unreliable product quality, safety hazards, potential for misleading health advice. All of these things will cause people to not, quote unquote, believe it.
Right.
And for good reason. But my point is that, yeah, I guess I keep hammering it in, but I'm like, yeah, these are true things. There's nothing about doses, nothing about safety hazards, product quality even. Like, so yeah, you could be taking this powder and it's not doing anything, and it really isn't doing anything, but that's not because plant medicine isn't real. It's because the quality of the powder, there's no regulations.
Right.
So it's a whole mess. Globally, there are no standards across various herbal products to authenticate their contents, safety, or efficacy. In a 2010 global survey of the most common 1,000 plant-derived compounds, only 156 of the 1,000 had clinical trials published. Therefore, much of these ancient practices and teachings are pseudoscientific. But keep in mind, lack of evidence is a result of lack of studies, not lack of validity.
Right. Exactly.
So perhaps if it were studied more diligently, it would become more scientifically proven. You have to study it to prove or disprove something.
Yeah. And I feel like I know we're in an LA bubble. We know that.
Yeah.
And I do have a good amount of friends that, I mean, they don't go as far as Ayurveda, but they do have their own remedies that they've developed throughout the years, or that their parents or their parents' parents have told them. And I encourage you, if you have never heard of anything like this before, if you've never even thought about doing anything because we haven't done anything, haven't done enough trials to consider the how valid it is. I really suggest you look into this more. I mean, we have some ideas for you based off what has worked for us.
Yeah.
And we're in a time right now, like we said earlier, where this could really help you. And you don't have to get the $250 goop version of this.
Right.
There's really accessible brands of things that you can get on Amazon really quickly.
Yeah.
Or any,
and some
I don't want to promote just Amazon, but any website.
Right, but just like basically it's accessible, and it doesn't always have to break the bank. And
yeah, we'll go into that later, but I know there's this one chick that you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, I do. Well, I was gonna say first there's a Chinese, oh my gosh, it's a Chinese syrup. It's like this natural remedy. I thought of it because you said Amazon. We got it on Amazon, but somebody recommended it when you have a cold. And, when I have a cold, if I know what it is, I'm not in the middle of a pandemic and I'm not freaking out. I do try to stick to natural remedies because I'm like, yeah, I know I could take this or that. But I would prefer to try natural remedies because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I know what a cold does. And I know it has a lifespan. And if it does work, cool. So the two things that I always, the second I feel anything coming on, like the hint of anything, I take wellness formula. Have you heard of it? You can get it at Sprouts, Whole Foods, a lot of grocery stores under supplements. It has like a blue-green lid. It's in a bottle. There are capsules, and it's called wellness formula. And they're big pills, and you take like 3 in the morning and 3 at night. So it's like you take a lot. But
wow.
I kid you not, I've used it for the last like 2 or 3 years. The second I feel something coming on, if I get it at the beginning, I take 3 that morning or night, 3 the next morning or night, just consistently. I would say 80 to 90% of the time, it completely stops it in its tracks. And I don't ever get anything.
Say the name of it one more time.
Wellness formula.
Wellness formula.
Yeah, you can. I know you can get it on Amazon, but like I said, I know health food stores carry it. Of course, Whole Foods, but not everybody. I don't shop at Whole Foods all the time, but Sprouts. You can definitely get it online though.
Yeah, GNC.
Yeah, GNC. Yeah, everywhere. And it is a natural. It is no bullshit, because there's a lot that you try and you never know.
Yeah.
And then there's this one too. This one I'm holding right now. I don't even know. Well, I'll take a picture of it and put it online.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys can see it in the video. It's this bottle. It's pretty much all in Chinese.
Oh, I think
this was
seen
recommended
that before, actually. Yeah. I don't know if it was you or not.
It was recommended, and it's herbal dietary supplement with honey and loquat. And then there's a bunch of stuff in Chinese. Anyway, this stuff, started taking this when I got sick. It's magic. It's magical. It is just like instantly the way that you feel like a lot of Western medicine, a lot of Western medicine is magical because it fucking steroids. You start taking that and you're better. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, it's magic. Some of this stuff, even though it's natural, it's that potent and it's that real.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 that I really have noticed significant. I take other stuff to experiment with, but I feel very confident saying that those 2 work. So I'll take pictures of those and post them.
Yeah, I have similar ones that I love to do, but I can get into that later.
Yeah, I went on a little tangent. I want to plug this.
I literally just I'm like putting into my cart right now.
Yeah, it's so good. So this brand is called Anima Mundi. I found her on Instagram. She has an Instagram called Anima Mundi Herbals, and the website is the same, Anima Mundi Herbals. So I want to pull up, I should have had this ready. I want to pull up her, she's an herbalist and a natural remedy. She has a brand. It's an apothecary and a shop she has in Brooklyn. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Yes, that seriously, I want her on so bad as a guest. Okay, here, let's see. Here we go. So, Adriana Ayales, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. She's an herbalist, medicine maker, educator, and lady behind the curtain at Anima Mundi. She says, I'm originally from Costa Rica, and I started Anima Mundi several years ago in Brooklyn as a means to bridging ancient remedies to the modern world. My heart was to create a true farm-to-pharmacy experience through the art of medicine making with herbs. I believe that by preserving ancient forms of indigenous botany, we keep alive a very sacred aspect to our source, which I think is beautiful. And she also... Where is that one part? Sorry, guys.
We'll link all this stuff in our show notes and on social media.
Her Instagram is incredible, and she'll post things. So she has a blog that's on that website where she posts. So a lot of I screenshotted a couple of her post topics because they're like, how to deal with anxiety. There's the 8 best herbs for anxiety. There are... I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. Our mission is to preserve the wisdom of ancient botany. And so she focused and studied on both Central and South American tribal style herbalism, studying with plant medicine teachers in Costa Rica, the Amazon, and California. I then went on to study classic Western and European herbalism. I trained as a clinical herbalist at different herbal schools and continued on to cultivate a private practice in Berkeley, California, and NYC. I became deeply fascinated with archetypes, astrology, and body types, and the cosmological correlations of illness, health with planetary function. I studied astrology, cosmology, and consciousness at the California Institute of Integral Studies, and I immersed myself in the study of medical astrology and biodynamics. I shortly after founded Anima Mundi Herbals in New York, with the purpose of providing an unadulterated medical herbal medicinal herbal line that integrated native traditions and ancient formulations. So basically, I wanted to create a business that not only provided an actual pure and powerful form of healthcare, I also cared to help preserve the indigenous lands and their local economies through organic agriculture and wildcrafted goods. Her grandma actually taught her herbalism when she was growing up in Costa Rica, and a lot of her stuff is sourced from the Amazon and
Wow.
ethically sourced and in its most potent form. Comes to her like from lineage in her family, which I thought was really interesting. She has a cookbook that I want to get. I haven't gotten it. It's called the Healing Tonics Cookbook.
Ooh.
And she explores the role of superfoods and super herbs and presents traditional recipes that embody ancient ways, including medicinal juicing for relaxation and rejuvenation, next level cleansing, and infusions and teas to nourish the body and soul. I have bought some of her products that I'll post as well. But she has, so some of her blog topics, top herbal antivirals that you need to know. That was a comment one, a recent one that was posted now in the light of everything that's happening. Antivirals that are herbal, like we mentioned, 15 antivirals for body and mind resilience. She has 5 herbs to help rewire anxiety and depression.
That's
Digestive
so
intelligence, a complete guide to detoxing the liver and the mind. And then I 8 ancient plants to shift into higher consciousness. So she goes into, she, like she mentioned, has a lot of interest in different, when it comes to astrology. Mm-hmm. It's a wide range of interest. It all ties back into herbalism. But yeah, I highly recommend a follow for her. She makes these beautiful drinks like rose lattes, matcha lattes. She sells all these kinds of powders and tinctures. But even just the blog is interesting just to read about. I highly recommend a follow on that.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I need to follow her immediately. That cookbook sounds perfect.
I know, right?
It reminds me too the healing herbs, and like getting sick and it reminded me of how of things that I have done and that I've been taught from my family. Like when I get sick immediately, I do garlic, garlic, honey, lemon, cayenne. Am I missing something? Ryan makes this for me.
There's some, garlic, honey, lemon,
That's
cayenne.
It, right? Garlic, cayenne,
ginger?
lemon, and honey. And you make it, it's like a tea, and you make it, it has to steep for a little bit, but it's amazing. That and baraka. Have you ever heard of baraka?
No. I don't know. What is that?
I think it's more European. Ryan's mom got us into it, but that basically kept me from getting sick all throughout planning a wedding and the honeymoon, which is a lot of traveling. And I have a shitty immune system. And
is it a powder?
It's effervescent, I think it's what it's called. It's like an Alka-Seltzer where you put it in water and it fizzes and you just drink it. It tastes so good. But it has B12. This is the baraka. It has B12, zinc, vitamin C, and D. It's amazing.
Interesting.
And it tastes great. And it kept me from getting sick that entire wedding planning season. And I am someone that stress and traveling affects me so deeply. And just from that, it kept me from getting sick. And I wish I regularly did it because I don't. And I feel like sometimes when I don't do that, I get sick. And
you get hit with stuff.
It's when I get off these supplements that really help me. And I encourage you to try them out and see what works for you. I know I reached out to a couple of my friends that have tried to different things, especially now. Whether it's peace of mind or it actually works, it doesn't hurt to try. And some of the things, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, C1000 rose hips. It's like in pill form, like rose hip oil. But it promotes healing, promotes your immune system support and antioxidant activity. That's amazing. Black seed oil. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yes. I've heard of that. It's super powerful. If you take too much of it, you can get sick.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I hadn't heard about it. My friend Al was nice enough to show me all the things that he got that's been working for him perfectly.
I've never taken it. He takes it?
Yeah, he takes it regularly. But basically what it does is it benefits a bunch of things. They said cosmetically it helps like weight loss, skin care, but it also helps treat symptoms and the progression of cancer and diabetes. And again, we're not saying this is, a replacement of anything that's vital to you.
Right.
But
Well, and like we said, studies haven't, it's not
Right.
that it's not true or true. It just hasn't been studied enough.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, because they always say on these things like FDA has not approved this statement. However, black seed oil, I've been down this, like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like how I am with skincare. I kind of, to a lesser degree, I'm like that with this kind of stuff. And that pops up everywhere. So there must be something to it.
Yeah. This is new for me. So I'm glad I'm really glad we do an episode like this because like a lot about this and this was like a complete learning experience for me because I do take supplements, but
Yeah.
I don't know as much and I think that could be a slightly pessimistic side to me that I think a lot of people
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way. There's so many options. Irish moss. Have you heard of Irish moss?
Not Irish moss, but there's all kinds of like moss and algae and seaweed, like
Yeah.
blue algae. That kind of stuff is so nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Irish moss, I have not though.
The Irish moss my friend takes, and we're going to link this all. We'll share this on our social media at the SOS Pod. But rich in potassium chloride, Irish moss can work wonders for congestion and mucus and holds antibacterial and antiviral properties. So when and I still have kind of a cough a little bit and mucus. So if you're developing those kind of symptoms, depending on how bad it is, this could really, really help you.
Yeah.
I learned about this way too late. I was taking other things for my cough, but this was helping my friend who was having a bad cough.
Wow.
And the Irish moss is also thought to be good for dry skin, for skin conditions. So it's like it has all these different properties. It's like respiratory and skin. Yeah, it's a valued ingredient for lotions and moisturizers. It's like
Did you
wild.
ever?
It's like everything.
When you were little, did you ever like go out into the yard? I remember I had a friend, Alex, that she and I. There was like a whole phase we went through. We'd go just in her backyard or mine and like create a mortar and pestle and pretend like we're like creating our own medicines and herb. Like we just crush up leaves and sticks and rocks and like rub it on our skin and just pretend. I don't know. Do you remember doing that?
No.
It's just me. It was fun though. It made you feel.
You're Jane from Tarzan. You would be that. Your dad's a botanist.
He did go around the yard and show my brother and me which plants we could eat. And so when we were outside, bored, playing, I remember looking for oxalis, which is a heart-shaped leaf. It's a little bit sweet, and I can eat it. And I would just sit in the grass and eat it.
Wow, that's cool.
When they were like, go play outside, and I didn't want to be outside, and I didn't know what to do outside, I'd just go eat plants.
So did you know what plants, like if you're camping or you're out in the wild, you know what plants to avoid too, like berries and stuff?
Yeah, because that was my whole childhood was backpacking and camping and hiking, and Dad would always, to distract me from my complaining a lot of the times too, be like, Molly, look at these, you can eat these or stay away from these ones. He did teach me a lot of that stuff.
Does anything stick out? Do you remember anything specific?
I remember there were these berries. They looked so pretty and they looked similar to one that we could eat, but they're bright red. And there were salmon berries, I think it's called, that we could eat. And there were ones that looked very similar to it that were poisonous. And so he showed us how to distinguish the two based on the shape of the leaf. But I don't know that right now I would remember that. I just remember him teaching me that and being like,
so cool.
And it gave you this sense of, because when you're a kid, you don't have control over what you do. If my parents say we're going on a 4-day backpacking trip, we're going on a 4-day backpacking trip, and I have a however many pound backpack on my back as like a kid, like being forced. So there were times where I'd be like, why? Like, can we just go to a hotel? Can we just go home? Whatever. And he would show me those things and tell me those things, and we'd be along the trail, and it gave me this sense of connection to where we were. Also, ownership is the wrong word, but like I would look around, I had a sense of control and understanding of like, I know what is surrounding me right now. I'm not just being dropped into this environment and told to walk until mom and dad say we can set up camp. Like now I can walk along and be like, I know what this is. And if I wanted to, I could eat that. It's just a mental thing, especially for a kid. But it was fun.
So what's his stance on marijuana?
Oh, he's not against that. He doesn't smoke it, but I know he definitely has in life.
Yeah.
Unless he's just really good at hiding it now.
And we can't forget, we didn't go into cannabis and everything it can do.
Yeah, we didn't.
Here.
We need a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's 420 season, so
exactly. Earth Day, 420. Courtney Taylor's
yourself.
Birthday, in case everyone
enjoy yourself is what
wants
we'll
to
say.
know.
Other things that are great to use right now, it's this it's like a little serum. So those little droppers, if you can see me, if you're watching. The little dropper, you put a little bit, yes, exactly, a little bit on your tongue, but it's called Christopher's lung and bronchial formula, and that's also good for respiratory illnesses. Echinacea, amazing. I'm sure if you've heard of anything, it's echinacea. I feel like that's like a really old, common supplement that people have taken for a long time to boost your immune system. Something that I bought almost immediately once I got my antibiotics a few weeks ago was the elderberry. I heard elderberry
oh my God.
syrup and berries in general are such an amazing tool for immunity support. So I bought elderberry gummies, and they taste so good.
They're good. I have an elderberry syrup that I bought a while back, and I've taken that in conjunction with the wellness formula that I have been taking for a long time. And I guess I should probably isolate it and take it by itself to see if it's doing its full thing. But I would swear by that too, though. The elderberry syrup that I have is like, it works.
It's amazing.
Really works.
I'll post the ones that I use because they're so, and they're cute. They're little gummies.
Yeah, they are. And
other antibiotics, supplements that I use is the probiotic. I saw that and I said antibiotic. I love probiotics because it helps me with my digestive issues. I feel like I always have stomach issues no matter what I eat.
Have you ever been tested? Yeah, I was just gonna say, like a food test. Because they can also determine if you might have, I hate the term for that, but leaky gut, because it's very common. It's super common. Most people have like some type of weakening in their gut lining, but it just it prevents you from absorbing all the nutrients that your food is providing.
Yeah.
And you're just, it causes a lot of like ongoing symptoms, whether digestive issues, but it's really common on different levels.
Yeah, I have to look into that. But I take the probiotics. They help a lot, and it helped with the antibiotics that I was taking because those are really bad for your stomach, the ones that I was taking. They make you run to the bathroom.
Do you take the probiotics morning and night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it like on an empty stomach, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I ate it with food. I had it with food.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, mine that I have say to take on an empty stomach.
Oh.
Probably just different.
I might not have read mine completely. I think it said can take on an empty stomach.
But you've noticed a difference, huh?
I didn't. I never took it without an empty stomach. With an empty stomach. I never took it with an empty stomach. I always took it with food. So I was fine. I never.
No, but I mean, since you started taking them, you've noticed a difference?
Yeah, and it's hard to know. It's kind of, I did the combination of like Western, like antibiotics and this. So I don't really know. I couldn't really tell you what helped. I kind of took everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And maybe that is kind of the combination of it, the yin and the yang, like you were talking about before. That's kind of what we should be focusing on anyway, because too much of one thing is never good. Magnesium, I take 2. That's really great. Supports bone and muscle health, but I also take it because I heard through the grapevine that it's really good, and look this up, for anxieties, and it'll help you sleep, and it has. So I'll take it before bed.
Yeah, a lot of, back to the Ayurveda thing for anxiety, adaptogens are like a buzzword, obviously, but people like reishi, a lot of mushroom-based things, adaptogenics, and they are exceptional at reducing stress levels, anxiety, stress, inflammation. I'll tag this as well, but I have this whole book called Adaptogens, Harness the Power of Super Herbs to Reduce Stress and Restore Calm. And it goes, I'll hold it up to the screen, but I'll also tag it.
Yeah.
So it goes down the list of the adaptogens. There's a whole list of them. I didn't count them, but some that you might have heard of. Goji berry, turmeric is one. Sage, rosemary, rhodiola, reishi, maca, licorice, ginseng, a bunch. So, and with each herb, it has its own little section, and it says where it grows, what it is, its origins in the plant kingdom, who it's for, how to take it, what you need to know. So if there's any like dangers or anything like that, and things that are good to know about it. And it just goes like the best form, the form that it's the most potent. It's a really helpful book if you're interested in like starting out or getting more knowledge for yourself. It's a cute little resource.
Cute little book.
It's a cute little book.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna link that on our social media and promote that because it's really good. It's a really good read right now. And when we were talking about all these natural remedies, we were also thinking about how to kind of treat the world better, and maybe if it's in your
means
capability, means, if you can be sustainable, we wanted to research ways you can remain that way, or dabble in it. And I did some research on this one blogger from Bay Terrace, I believe it's in New York. Her name is Ariana Palmieri. And again, I'm going to link her blog in our show notes and on social media. But she shares her zero waste journey and tips and tricks for being environmentally conscious. And she recommends specifically for toilet paper because everyone can't find toilet paper.
Right.
And if you want to, think about ways to be environmentally conscious with that, she recommends plastic-free brands online, like Who Gives a Crap. That's a brand. No Plastic. Real is another one. Pure Planet Club. Again, gonna link these all down. They were a week ago. I checked. They were back ordered. Because a lot of people are trying them, which is cool. I think they should be stocked by the time this episode airs. So check those out. Also, she recommends a bidet. And I know Ryan has been trying to get us to get a bidet for the longest time, and I think we're going to try it. I don't know. It makes me feel weird. And there's also things that she talks about, too, like cleaners and making homemade cleaners at home with ingredients that you'll most likely have already. They don't have to go out to the store for. She made a DIY orange peel vinegar cleaner.
Oh, that I just ordered a natural cleaner recently. It smells bomb. It's like citrus and vinegar. And it's the first time I've really dabbled in it. And I was like, but how well is it going to work? Because I need to scrub the tub. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then I was like, it works amazingly. The one I got from Public Goods, and they're like a natural, sustainable brand.
Oh, nice. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, they send it in plastic, but you can also get your own glass bottle and then only purchase the little refill of the cleaning mixture that you take home. You mix it with water, shake it up, and put it in your spray bottle. So you can reuse the plastic spray bottle they send you, or you can put it into any glass bottle you have.
That's nice. If you wanted to make it, she just says it's all you need is orange peels, vinegar, and water. So it sounds pretty easy. It's an all-purpose cleaner, and it works just as well as store-bought ones. So if you're like me and you're lazy, I would buy it.
Does she have an
but
Instagram?
I did make something. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I was just wondering if she has an Instagram.
Oh, I'm not sure. I actually didn't get her Instagram, but if she does, guess where it's going to be? The show notes.
Perfect.
And she also has a lot of sickness remedies that are sustainability conscious, environmentally conscious, I'll say.
Yeah.
Echinacea tea, elderberry syrup that we talked about, neti potting. Have you ever neti potted?
I have not. My parents have. No, they've done ear candles, waxing.
What?
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Neti pot, I have not, but everyone talks about it.
Everyone in my family does it, and I cannot bring myself. Ryan, do you do it? And at neti pot? I thought you did. I cannot bring myself to do it. I am horrified of the pot going into my nostril and it coming out. And I get sinus infections like I get a lot of those. And
I get them too.
Used to do neti pot, but don't listen to us. Do it because it does help and it's environmentally conscious. Multivitamins, garlic honey. There's this thing called garlic honey that she makes, and on her blog that we'll link. I keep saying that the ingredients and the recipe is on there.
And like the on our Instagram during the week of this episode airing, we're just going to be bombarding. If you're curious about these things, we'll put up photos of the books, the supplements, links to these people and these accounts. So yeah, you'll be able to find it. Garlic, I straight up raw garlic cloves. I'll eat 1 to 2 of them when I'm getting sick, and I swear to God.
Garlic.
Same.
But she also had a recipe for a homemade cough syrup. And because I had like a really nagging cough that I kind of still have in the morning, and I'm like, I have all the ingredients. It's ginger, lemon, and water and honey.
Wow.
And I had all those. All you need if you want to make it is those ingredients. You gotta like peel, slice some ginger, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon zest, 1/2 cup of lemon juice, cup of water, cup of honey. So I made it.
Yes.
I videotaped making this as well, because I don't know why. I feel like me in the kitchen is just ridiculous and it shouldn't happen. So I recorded it just to see what happens. And I'm going to post it on social media, maybe YouTube. Me and Ryan are doing it together because I should not be alone in the kitchen. I should not be trusted. But we made it today, and I wanted to
Have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried it.
Ooh. Just opening the jar right now.
Make it. Okay, wait. Ryan's going to open
Ryan's
it for me
opening
because
the jar
I
right now.
should not. You open it? Okay, cool. So I'm going to taste test this live on the podcast. So I hope you are watching it on YouTube because this might taste like crap.
You have a spit bucket.
We don't know if we had enough honey or we kind of messed up, and you'll see it in the video that I am currently editing and we'll post.
Okay.
So
drinking it straight from the jar.
What?
She's drinking it straight from the jar for all of you who are not watching.
Drinking it straight from the jar. This is natural homemade cough syrup made with ingredients that you'll find in your kitchen. All right, here we go.
Just projectile vomit everywhere.
It's really good.
Is it? She made it like sour lemon face.
Yes, because it's a lot of lemon and ginger, but it's really yummy. I would give it to her. You want some? Good, because I'm not sharing. This is actually really yummy.
No, it's just like a coffee cup. She's just sipping off of it.
Yeah, this is great.
Does she tell you how much to take and how often?
They said. Oh, she said to take it. A great question, Molly.
Oh, thank you.
Fuck, and I had it up and now it's gone. I believe she said, I forget how much, but twice a day for sure, and it can last in your fridge for 6 months.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Again, linking it, show notes.
Perfect.
We're not going to do any work for you guys.
That's cool. I think it's what it's really about is like just expanding, just learning, just expanding your mind. If you try something or you try a natural cleaner, doesn't clean your stovetop, go back to whatever, who cares? But it's the exploration and, also the understanding, opening your mind to the fact that, we're not always modern day society is not always in all areas in the most evolved place that humanity has ever been before. In some areas we are, in some areas we're not. And it's accepting that. And like we said, balance and carrying through what was known, what cultures have known how do you think humanity stayed alive to get to the point where we are? Before they had the medicine we have, they obviously had stuff that was working enough to continue the species. So there's a lot of validity to this, and despite the lack of studies, but like we said, we're not experts, but there are a lot of things that we have tried and that are proven to work within ourselves that we'll recommend. Please, if you know anybody who's a professional in this realm, send them our way because we'd love to have them as a guest. I'm sure you guys would like to listen to that.
And what's a better time than now to kind of change your way of thinking and trying something new,
right?
And remaining positive and seeing what good can come out of this, whether it's trying these new natural remedies or just even like looking into it a little bit.
Yeah,
even by listening to this podcast, you're just a better person.
Congratulations. So the charity and nonprofit that Alissa researched this week, shout out to you.
Well, we both did. We were both trying to figure out something that was relevant and to both this episode and what's going on.
Yeah. So this one, it's called On Being Human 2020. It's a COVID-19 food drive. So on Being Human 2020 campaign was started by author, international speaker, workshop, and retreat leader Jennifer Pestiloff. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Which raises critical funds for people who need food during the pandemic. The fund buys $100 grocery cards for people that said grocery carts. It buys $100 grocery cards for people in need who apply on the website. Volunteers screen and call the individuals and buy the grocery cards online for the grocery store nearest those in need. Direct giving, that's in quotes, direct giving means instead of going into a charity, the money donated goes directly to the people in need. No one gets paid a fee or a salary, and there's no tax deduction for anyone to take. It's pure giving. So to donate, please visit www.onbeinghuman2020.com. This one felt relevant. It's not exactly about herbalism and whatnot, but when we're talking about natural healing yourself naturally or things you have in your kitchen, or obviously it's related to having stuff in your kitchen. And a lot of people can't even go buy stuff for their own families right now. And so it's important to shout out these resources. I know we're seeing them everywhere online, mutual aid funds here everywhere. But so what? The more you just need to keep putting them out there, the more things you find, spread it. It can seriously help millions of people right now.
Absolutely. And for next week's episode, shaman and spiritual advisor Rudy Benag breaks down the ins and outs of meditations, spiritual healing, and how amazing ayahuasca trips truly are. Take a huge breath in and out. You've earned it. So we're really excited about that. It's our friend Rudy. And he just got certified as a shaman right before the pandemic started. So we're really excited about that.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you, COVID-19, for being on brand for us. Here's to turning meltdowns into magic.